these are the top 5 strengthening exercises for runners. Now, contrary to what a lot of runners might think, when you run, when you're training, whether it's a fast day, an easy day, running does not make you stronger. It makes you a better runner. It works your heart and it works your efficiency as a runner. So we have to add some kind of strength training in, and these are our top 5 exercises. The number 1 exercise for distance runners is the Bulgarian split squat. And here's why. It actually works on 3 things that runners need. Number 1, it helps work on muscle imbalances. So if you have one side that's slightly stronger or slightly weaker than the other, performing a traditional deadlift or a squat, you're not gonna be able to really work on those differences. And a Bulgarian split squat it's very single leg dominant, where the leg that's out in front, we're really loading this leg. The back leg's really more for balance. So you're really able to load up one side and work on these muscle imbalances. So as you perform a Bulgarian split squat, keep a note and make sure of, hey, what side feels weaker or stronger? It'll give you a great idea of what side is weaker. Number 2, a Bulgarian split squat will help improve your balance. That front leg, again, the leg that's out in front of you is doing all the work. The leg that's back, that's just for a little bit of support. As you lean more onto that front leg, you're really turning it more into a single leg exercise. And runners, what's running? It's a single leg hop over and over again. So as you do a Bulgarian split squat, you're working on your balance at the same time. So I really love taking our shoes off and really working on pushing that big toe into the ground as we're performing these. And you can load these up, but it's a great exercise to improve, yes, strength on both sides, but also improve your balance. The third reason why I love Bulgarian split squats is it will actually improve your hip mobility. Now, when we run, the leg that's behind you, this hip is getting stretched into hip extension, and we want a good amount of this motion. One of my mentors, Kelly Starrett, says the more hip extension you have, the younger you are. If you're lacking hip extension, that's not a good sign of longevity, especially as a runner. So as you're performing these Bulgarian split squats, that leg that's behind you, as you go down into the split squat, you're gonna feel a massive stretch on the front of that leg that's behind you. And you can actually get to the bottom, hold that a couple seconds, come on back up. Even if you're going down and up a little bit faster, you're gonna feel that stretch. It's a great exercise. Hey, you're working on strength, you can get a little bit of mobility work in at the same time in that trailing leg. For the Bulgarian split squat, we have a couple different variations. Number 1 is no weight. You're just going as far down as you can, coming back up, pushing that ground away, feeling your glutes engage. Second variation here is we're leaning a little bit more forwards, loading that front leg. As we load this front leg, it's gonna put more demand on this, turning it more into a single leg exercise, making it more challenging. Third variation, we have a goblet kettlebell Bulgarian split squat, holding that kettlebell in front of you. Again, changing that weight depending on where you're at. Number 4, we have a kettlebell split squat, holding it on one side, the other side is gonna tax your core. And then last but not least, we have a barbell variation in the front rack. You can really load up a lot of weight here if you wanna get heavy. The second must-do strength exercise for runners is the soleus, or the bent knee calf raise. There's a lot of different variations for this, but it's very, very important because there's 2 muscles that are the powerhouse muscles when running. It's the hamstrings and the soleus muscle. Surprisingly, it's not the glutes, unless you're going uphill. It's more for stabilization. The hammies and the soleus are more, that's gonna propel us forwards. And the soleus is used a lot more when our knees are bent. It's that raises the heel off the ground when the knees are bent. And the difference between this and the other calf muscle, that gastrocnemius, is when you're sprinting, when you're running really fast, that gastrocnemius muscle is used. When you are long, slow duration running, the soleus is used around 6 to 8 times more. So when we're running, we wanna make sure that we are strengthening our soleus. Also, if you have tightness in your calves, Achilles tendonitis, plantar fasciitis, a lot of times that is from having a soleus muscle that is not firing the right way. It's all scarred up, it's weak. So getting your soleus stronger can help, really help take away and cure and solve the plantar fasciitis, Achilles tendonitis, it's chronic calf tightness that so many runners are plagued with. For the soleus calf raise, here are some variations. The first one is a double leg variation. Both knees are bent. You can hold on to the wall, but make sure when you raise that heel off the ground, you're not straightening your knees. Keep those knees bent. Second variation is a single leg bent knee, soleus raise. So just standing on one leg, going up and down with that heel. After this, we can load this, we can add some weight to that same side. The fourth variation is actually getting into the bottom position of our split squats and then performing these calf raises, these heel raises with a much more aggressive knee bend. And last but not least, we can really load up this bottom position of our split squats while performing these heel raises. The third exercise all runners should be doing is the kickstand deadlift. And this is just a starting deadlift. We do want to go into like a single leg Romanian deadlift, but the kickstand deadlift, it's fantastic for, yes, working the glutes, but also the hamstrings. And again, as we know, hamstrings are one of the two most used muscles that runners need to be strength trained. Because the kickstand deadlift, you're biasing one side. It's similar to the Bulgarian split squat where you can really, again, bias one side, where if you know one side is weaker, you can load up that side and start to work on these imbalances. Unlike the traditional deadlift where you're doing, where both sides are working equally, you can really isolate each side and make sure you're finding these imbalances and addressing them. This is how you can progress your kickstand deadlift. First thing, no weight, just making sure you're hinging back, feeling the hamstrings and the glutes, especially in that bottom position. You want to feel that hamstring on the leg that is in front of you. Second progression we can do is holding a kettlebell out in front of you. Everything's exactly the same, but we're starting to load this. And then we can actually move on to our single leg Romanian deadlift, starting with no weight. The fourth progression here is adding a kettlebell to our single leg Romanian deadlift, making sure that our hips are not twisting from side to side, keeping our back level. And last but not least, adding a barbell to this single leg Romanian deadlift, really focusing on feeling the hamstring and keeping our hips and back flat. The fourth exercise that every runner should be doing is the kettlebell swing. And this can be a little bit of an intimidating exercise, but the payoff for this, it is an investment in your running health, and here's why. It is a full body exercise. It's working your core, it's working your lats, it's working glutes, hammies, it's working literally everything, and you are moving fast. And when we're talking about moving fast, when we're runners, we hit the ground, we're hitting the ground fast. That's a great stimulus to our tendons. Our tendons help us hit the ground quick, come off. When we're performing these kettlebell swings, yes, it's strengthening our glutes and our hamstrings and our core, but it's getting into this position and coming out quick, getting in, coming out quick. It's training our muscles to fire quickly, but also it's stimulating and training our tendons to stretch and contract quicker. And these tendons will adapt and get thicker and become stiffer and contract more efficiently, and translate this over to running. The first progression for the kettlebell swing is simply a hip hinge, making sure that you know how to push your hips backwards, leaning forwards properly, making sure you're not excessively rounding or arching your back, just learning how to hip hinge and engage those hamstrings. The second progression is the banded kettlebell swing, grabbing a monster band, stepping through it, tying it to a rig, and going through that hip hinge and adding those arms as well, quickly getting into that position, coming out of the kettlebell swing. And the last one here is the kettlebell swing, the full swing. We want to make sure we're hiking that kettlebell back. If you can, kind of have that kettlebell swing up and hit you right in the butt, and exploding out of it, squeezing our glutes. And feel free, you can bring that kettlebell all the way up or right down to eye level. Our fifth exercise in our top 5 strengthening exercises for runners is the row, is the shoulder row. Could simply be bent over, you're grabbing a dumbbell, rowing it, bring your shoulder behind you. The goal of this is to build some strength in our upper body, especially our traps in the back and our lats. That are muscles that most runners are very, very weak in. And what ends up happening is if we are really weak in the back here, we'll develop this rounded shoulder position. And then now we're running with these shoulders rounded, and it is a horrible position for our shoulders to be in, but it also can influence what our legs and our hips are doing. As if I'm here and I'm in a poor position in my shoulders, the shoulders follow the hips follow the shoulders. So if the shoulder's doing something wonky, the hips are gonna follow suit and also do something wonky and can mess up our running form. Another reason why we wanna improve the strength of our traps and our lats is because of something called the posterior sling. That as my right shoulder moves behind me, as my left leg is behind me in this running position, running pose, the left glute and my right latissimus dorsi, they work together. That forms this X. That if I'm really weak here, then my glute doesn't have much else to help pull on, and it actually creates instability in our body and instability in our back. So this can actually cause a little back pain and make you just waste energy and become a much less efficient runner. So having strong shoulders moving from this position to this position can actually help us, yes, improve our position and our posture, actually help our glute fire better that a lot of runners have problems with. Again, left glute, right shoulder work together, right glute, left shoulder work together. They stabilize that back, helps with back pain, and helps us just move better as a runner. Here are some variations for your rows. Number one is a banded T. This is gonna work a lot more of that trapezius. It won't work the lat as much, but making sure your elbow is bent and you're really squeezing your shoulder blades in the back as you're bringing that shoulder back. Number two is a banded row. This is where we're standing, core's engaged, we're just rowing, we're bringing our shoulder back. Make sure you don't bicep this. You should feel this in the lats, in the traps. The third progression here is a row with the back lunge. So you are rowing as you take a step backwards. So I actually wanna feel that, hey, I'm squeezing my glute on the right side as I'm rowing with my left, and vice versa. The fourth progression is just a bench row, so we can get a little more heavier here, really focusing on squeezing the shoulder blade back and feeling that lat activate. And last but not least, we have a bent over row, so a lot more core demand, a lot more glute demand as we row this dumbbell in this bent over position. Why do we want to strength train? Number one, it can help us get out of pain. As we get stronger, our muscles will contract harder, and our surface area and our diameter of our muscle will increase. That helps unload the joint. So if you have knee pain, you have ankle pain, hip pain, back pain, a lot of times that's from the joints just being overused. If you get stronger, you'll be able to buffer that and have your glutes and your quads, your hamstrings, have your muscles take that load and not your joint. Number two, strength training will improve our bone density. Again, contrary to popular belief, running is actually really, really bad. It's horrible for our bone density. Yes, it's better than just sitting on the couch and doing nothing, but to really get a good response and improve our bone density, we have to have a stronger muscle pull and a stronger tendon pull on the bone. That is how our body reacts and starts to lay more bone down, is we want stronger pulls and contractions onto our bone. And running, yes, we do load our body, but there's a lot of free energy with running, a lot of plyometric, it's like a single leg hop over and over again. There's not a massive pull on the muscle, or excuse me, a pull on the bone, versus when we load up and we strength train, squat, deadlift, split squat, we're putting a lot more contraction, a lot more pull on that bone, and we lay down a lot more bone. The third reason is it will actually help you run faster and perform better. If you get stronger, your muscles, yes, will be able to hit the ground and be able to put more force into the ground, but also allows our tendons to get thicker, stronger, and adapting better. And tendon stiffness is a massive part of runners being successful, getting free energy from our tendons. And if we can get stronger, if we can have muscles that are stronger, bigger, and contract better, we're gonna be able to run faster and, yes, have improved bone density, get out of pain, and also perform better. If you like this video, please watch our other YouTube videos. Check out our Alpha Project Physio channel. We have a lot of valuable content on there that can help you, especially if you are a runner, a CrossFitter, an active person. Please check out our other videos. But if you are more interested in solving your problem for good and really motivated, you can check out our website linked below, alphaprojectphysio.com, where you can reach out to us and find out more about what we do and how we help runners and athletes. And if you are, again, on our website interested in working with us, we have a bunch of ebooks you can download if you are a runner, you have pelvic floor problems, if you are a CrossFit athlete, someone active, and you want to find out more about what you have going on and kind of where your body is. You can check out those ebooks that will tell you a lot of valuable information. But again, please check out our website, and looking forward to talking with you soon.